بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
All praise due to Allah Rabbul Alameen for His blessing, for His guidance, that He have allowed all of us to gather together in this beautiful hall. And without any further delay, firstly, we'd like to thank the MC, we'd like to thank TM, led by Dato' Sazali and his team, who respond to this our call very positively, with Sheikh Yusuf Estes as our guest speaker today from US, and also we have guests from Jakarta, Pak Bukhari and his team. They are all here with us. Yeah, they are the collaboration team with us, and we have IPSI's president, Brother Kamaruddin, also with us here. So may Allah bless all of us who are here today, and inshallah, we believe that if our intention is very clear to seek the truth, nothing but the truth and the whole truth, inshallah, you will get what you want from Allah Rabbul Alameen. To all the brothers and sisters, now we welcome Sheikh Yusuf Estes to share his beautiful experience about Islam and the topic today. Please don't let me be misunderstood. To Sheikh Yusuf Estes, fatafaddal.
Jazakallah khair. May Allah reward you and increase you in all that is good. Always. Ameen. Ameen. And to the organizers, first of all, because without you, we wouldn't be here. For those who invited us to come and to join in this great effort, we really appreciate you and we like to acknowledge that. To the CEO of the organization, whom I just met today, with thank you so much. And Karamuddin, he mispronounces his name, but it's okay. I love you anyway. Bukhari, all the way from Indonesia, mashallah. Kareem, who all accompanied his best friend for life, actually. And Nanak, mashallah, we love having you guys come all this way to be with us today. And to all of you who took time out of your schedule to come and be with us today, we say thank you so much. In the West, unfortunately, we don't really take the time to say thank you enough. Everybody likes to feel appreciated for what they did. And our Prophet ﷺ said, whoever doesn't thank the people, he doesn't thank Allah. So we say, Alhamdulillah, Nashkurullah, we thank Allah for everything. And we appreciate everybody being here. And is that enough? Can I go ahead and start the speech now? Okay. Okay, let's move forward. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen huwa alladhi ja'alna muslimin wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah al-Kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Qala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fil Quran al-Kareem, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat lin-nasi ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. والله ومعنى أهل الكتاب الله كان خير لهم منهم المؤمنون وأكثرهم الفاسقون. I like this ayah so much. Of course, we as Muslims, we love every single verse of the Quran. But there are some that stand out in the minds of different people more so maybe than others because it affects them, affects their life. They feel like here's the Quran is speaking directly to me. And this particular ayah does speak directly to me. And before I talk about the translation of it, what I'd like to do is ask this question. How many in here are born Muslim? Raise your hand. You're born in Islam, raised in Islam? Put your hand up really high. Okay. MashaAllah. Now, how many of you, we say reverted or converted to Islam? Raise your hand. Sneak it up there. Nobody's recording. There you go. All right. And how many are not Muslim yet? Raise your hand. Not Muslim yet. One? Did I see one hand go up? How you like being surrounded by all these terrorists? Muslims. That slipped. Boys don't even wear slips. Anyway, so, yeah, we'll move forward with that one. Alhamdulillah. As you can see by the title, we said, don't misunderstand me. All along the way, when people are talking, we try to interpret or understand what they're saying. It's enough of a problem if somebody speaks the same language as you, you grew up in the same area with the same expressions and the same experiences, and you know what they're saying. Even then you can make mistake in understanding. Is that true? And it could even be in your own family, in the very house that you grew up in. People misunderstand. You didn't understand what I meant. I meant something else. How about when we talk about trying to understand from another language, from another time, another situation, really another world? The Arabiya, the Arabic language, is the language of the Quran, the language of the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the understanding of the experiences the people were going through at the time and how it was relevant to them may not be exactly how we understand things today. For this reason, we give the excuse, and we should give excuse to each other, for misunderstandings. And this is people, listen, this is people who are trying to understand, who want to come together in agreement. What about those who don't want to understand, who are trying to cause friction, disunity, and division amongst the Muslims? We can see these misunderstandings on a daily basis. If you have internet, and let me ask this way, how many people do not have internet in their house or at work? Okay, nobody raised their hand, so I guess everybody's on the same page. We all know about the internet, social media, and maybe even somebody might even have Facebook in here, huh? Or Twitter, Instagram. Somebody, I'm sure there's at least one or two people in here that have something to do with social media. Is that right? Yeah, right. What I'm getting at is something that is very relevant to the experience that all of us are sharing on a daily basis. And that is misunderstanding. The misunderstanding amongst non-Muslims, Muslims, folks in our own area, folks at work, and even in our own house. These misunderstandings are exaggerated and brought to a whole new level when you consider that we have a common enemy who is really invisible to us. A common enemy who is our real enemy. Oftentimes I hear Muslims say the Jews are our enemies. I hear that the Christians are our enemies. But look what Allah said in the Quran, and I want you to reflect on this for just a minute. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا ادخلوا في السلم كافة. O you who believe, enter into Islam perfectly, and do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan. Verily, he is an open, declared enemy to you. Who's the enemy? Can you see him? No. But he's your biggest enemy. So again, using these misunderstandings, he can pull this out and make us, all of us, try to understand but not understand at the same time. What is the solution? As in many of the problems we face in a daily situation, at work, for instance, in business, they have a saying, every problem contains in itself the seeds to its own solution. Every problem has the seeds to the solution in it. It means you need to understand the problem before you try to solve it. If somebody handed you a mathematical equation and said, solve this, and you look at it and you say, I don't even know what it means. What's all these parentheses and different marks that I don't know, and times this and X that, and what is that? Before you begin to problem solve, you should know what it means. Get a good understanding. Now again, let's go back and look. We said the Arabic language is the language of the Quran. We said the language of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Arabic. So could this be a problem? Could that be a problem, that we're not really understanding what the Arabic means? And then look at the situation, how people then related to these things and the idioms that they use. Let me give you one, just one example. I grew up with this, maybe you can relate to it. When the children come running into the house and the mother says, don't slam the door, bang. The next child runs in, bang. I told you don't slam the door, bang. I told you don't slam the, bang. I told you 100 times don't slam the door. How many times did the mother say it? Why did she say 100? Everybody know what I'm talking about? Yes. Out of exasperation, she has multiplied this to let you understand that I'm really upset. I started to say P.O., but I think I won't do that. Oops. Anyway, she's upset. Now, consider this. In Arabic at the time, they used the number 7 to represent a group. Pretty much like we say today, half a dozen. You know? Bring some cookies over here. How many do you want? About half a dozen. So if I brought you 7 or 5, you wouldn't care. Half a dozen is actually, a dozen is 12, so half of that is 6. Nobody's going to say, why did you bring 7? I said half a dozen. Yeah, you get the idea. And when people said the term 40, they meant quite a few, but didn't have to be exactly 40. And when they said 70, oh man, you're talking about a whole bunch. And 700, more than anybody could count. This was the way that they reflected on numbers at the time. And so when you read hadith, even some of the things you see in the Quran, you can understand, don't worry about the exact number. It's not the point. there's something much bigger behind the story. Should we take one example from the Sunnah of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Okay. Yeah. I was hoping you'd say yes. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble right now. So, as an example, I'm going to stand up, by the way, because some of you, I can't really see you. Okay, now. I know why they want to sit in the back. They're trying to sleep. I'm sorry, I'll sit back down. In one hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us that there would be a division amongst the Muslims in the last days. And he used an expression. He said, as the Ahlul Kitab, the Jews and the Christians, divide into 71 or 72 groups, you Muslims will divide into 73. وَقُلٌ فِي النَّارِ, and all of them will be in the fire. Everybody know this hadith? إِلَّا وَحِدٌ, except for one, the one me and my companions are on today. Now, if I wasted a lot of time worrying about the numbers, I would miss the whole point. And in fact, when I first came to Islam, one of the first hadith I heard was this hadith. As the Jews and Christians divide into 71 or 72, Muslims will divide into 73. And a brother is coming to me and he's saying, Sheikh, guess what? Guess what? I said, what? He said, I think it's the last day. I said, why? He said, because I was able to count 73 different kinds of groups of Muslims. I said, which masjid? There's a lot more than that, hello. And do you really think that's what you're supposed to do? Let's count the groups. Okay, what group are you in? Okay, you're one of those, okay. And what group are you in? What? Somebody that took the time to count has missed the whole point. To give an understanding of that, let me share something with you. When I was a small boy, we belonged to a church, the only church that was simply called Christian Church. There was no other except this group of churches. They were just called Christian Church. Anybody could come. Anybody could be there, and you didn't have to be a member or anything like that. This is like 70-something years ago, but that's the way it was. Christian Church. The only name it would have is where it was located. Collinwood Christian Church in Cleveland, Ohio. Euclid Christian Church out in Euclid, Ohio. Mentor on the Lake Church, Christian Church, because it's on Mentor on the Lake. This is all in Ohio where I was born. Imagine that. We moved to Texas and the South Houston Christian Church, Pasadena Christian Church, and so on. But all of a sudden, there was a division rising up in that church from takeover, one group against another group, with somebody at the head. I need to be in charge. No, you don't. I do. You know what I'm saying, right? They divided up into what is today the Church of Christ and the Disciples of Christ. We were with the ones called the Church of Christ in South Houston, but we moved out to Pasadena. There wasn't anything out there, so we were involved with the Disciples of Christ. Okay? When we went back after a couple of years to visit the other church that really we had a lot to do with them in the day, they looked at us like we were kuffar. Like, get out of here. What are you doing in here? You're with them. I shared that story with a Baptist minister one time, and he shook his head and he said, it's worse than that amongst the Baptists. I said, what do you mean? He said, listen to this. It's a story, but it has a lot of relevance. A man is waiting for an airplane in another country. And while he's sitting there, he notices the guy's suitcase says something about America on it. He said, "You from America?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Me too." He said, "Where are you from?" "Texas." "Hey, me too." "Where in Texas?" "Dallas." He said, "Well, that's where I'm from. Me too." Then he thinks about it for a minute and he said, "What religion are you?" He said, "I'm a Christian." He said, "Me too." Protestant or Catholic?" He said, "I'm Protestant." He said, "Me too." "What denomination?" He said, "I'm Baptist." He said, "Me too." "So where do you go to church?" "I go to First Baptist Church downtown Dallas." "Hey, me too." "So where do you sit in the church?" "What row?" "Well, I sit in the first row." "Well, me too." "All right. Right side or left side?" "Well, I sit on the right side." "Oh, you're one of those." The story, obviously, is a joke, but the results, in reality, is not a joke. As the Jews and Christians themselves had divided up into so many different groups, the Bible in the New Testament talks about the groups of the Jews, of the Sanhedrin, the Sadducees, and the priests, the Pharisees, etc. It goes on and on about that. And Muslims, unfortunately, are no different. We have done the exact same thing. And each group of the Jews, Christians, and Muslims claim that they are the only ones on the right way. And in this room right now, somebody's thinking, "Yeah, but I really am on the right way." No, I really am. Hello. But listen now, get past that number thing and listen to the rest of the hadith. Kullun finnar, all of them are in the hellfire. All of those groups that divided up of the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims, kullun finnar, they're all in the hellfire. Na'udhu billah. Illa wahid. Except one. Which one? And that's the key, isn't it? This is the whole reason for the hadith. Which one? The one me and my companions are on today. Brothers and sisters, if you don't get anything else out of what we're saying here today, when you go out that door, I just want you to have this one thing. Hold on to this one thing. What was it? And it was mentioned in the ayah that our brother read to us when we started. What was it Muhammad ﷺ and his companions radiallahu anhu ajma'in, they all called themselves what group? I don't see anybody moving. Hello? What group did they say they were? Now sometimes when I get too heavy on this, I get kicked out of countries, and I don't care. I got another one to go to. But I got to tell you how it really is, because that's my responsibility in front of Allah. Which group was it? Because that group existed at the time, because he referred to it. The group that me and my companions are on. Which group was it? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum Shiite, Sufi, Wahhabi, Salafi. Now Sheikh was explaining something earlier today which comes down to that. because those are the people that we follow. An Arabic word, salaf, means people before you. But before you grab that name and call yourself by it, hold on a second. In Quran, Allah refers to that word of the kuffar, the people who were following something. And you've heard this in the translation, right? Why are you worshiping these false gods? We are following what our forefathers did, and this is the same thing. The key in there is salaf as-saleh, to be from the saleh, the righteous people. And obviously, you can't go around calling yourself righteous, because then people will say, I guess you're modest too, you know. So I wanted to emphasize the word Muslim. And what we heard from our brother when he said about the one who is better in speech than the one who calls to Allah. He's doing his righteous deeds, calling to Allah, and he says very clearly, I'm of the Muslims. That's all we need. That is really all we need. I don't want to keep you busy with all of this too long. Besides, I want to ask Sheikh Hussain to give us some real knowledge in a minute or two. But before I do that, I want to share another story that's really did happen. And only a crazy person would do it. But I've never been accused of being too sane anyway. But when I came back from Mexico City one time, they pulled me aside at immigration in Houston. I landed in Houston. They pulled me aside. They said, we know who you are. All right. We're going to ask you questions, okay? So you're a Muslim? Yep. They asked, what kind of Muslim are you? I could just say a Sunni Muslim and get my airplane and go. But I refused to do that because I don't want to be misunderstood. I wanted to be clear. So I said, well, first of all, I'm the kind of Muslim that knows you're not supposed to interfere with my religion. He said, we have the right. We can ask you. We have this right because of this new law, anti-terrorism, blah, blah, blah. So you have to tell us what kind of Muslim you are. So what kind of Muslim are you? I said, well, I'll admit it. I'm a fat Muslim. I'm trying to lose weight. And you could see they weren't laughing. Your guys are laughing, but they were not laughing. And I didn't laugh either. I was acting like I didn't know, you know. And he said, I'm asking you again, what kind of Muslim are you? I said, well, I'm an old Muslim, but I can't do anything about that. Still not too happy with the answer. He said, I'm asking you, what type of Muslim are you? I said, type? B positive. That's my blood type. Then he pulls out this stack of paper and he's going through them. Are you this kind of Muslim, this kind of, he's naming all the different groups, group after group after group. There's one in there that I'd only heard of in one prison. I used to be a prison chaplain. And he said, Hebrewish Muslim, a Yahudi Muslim. And then you go there, the next one, the next one, the next one. I'm thinking, I'm going to miss my airplane. I need to come up with something, and I'm not going to say Sunni Muslim. I know that's the best answer, but still, I'm a Christian Muslim. A what? A what? A Christian Muslim. I was a Christian, I became a Muslim. Okay, you can go. So it turns out that people want to have a label. They want to have a label, and then they're okay with it. When there was a disease that was going around all over it started in Africa and it went to other places. They didn't know what it was. It was incurable. They couldn't find a cure for this thing, and people were just dying. They came up with a name for it. AIDS. Once they got the name, I felt more comfortable. They got a label on it, you know? Then HIV, meaning the carrier of the AIDS. They're much more comfortable with it now. You can say it has this thing, and just like that solved the problem. And this is what I'm trying to emphasize again and again and again, that we need to be so careful, so careful about that subject, trying to come up with a group to compartmentalize ourselves from another group. In reality, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, that is the group. And there can be differences, and there are certainly, on how people understand things. But the first and foremost thing is to understand there really is Allah. He is one. He created all of us to worship Him alone without partners. And a second thing, to be good to each other. And you'll find that in the Bible. You'll find that in the Quran. You'll find that in the Hadith. If you want to nitpick, if you want to go to some detail and tell me how many 71 Jews there are in the world of groups, 72 of the Christian groups, you're wasting your time. Look at the bigger picture. It's really about something much, much bigger. And I hope and pray that all of us will really be on La ilaha illallah at our time of our death, and Allah will raise us up with the righteous people and put us in His Jannah near Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is my goal. This is my wish for you, for all of us. May Allah grant us this. Ameen. This is the part where you say Allahu Akbar. And now this is the part where I hand the microphone over to Sheikh Hussain Yee, and I'm going to ask him to kind of pick up where we left off with that and follow through so that we'll have something from Quran and Sunnah about our topic.
Alhamdulillah to all the brothers and sisters. Sheikh Yusuf Estes have shared his priceless experiences being a Christian Muslim. Alhamdulillah.
I hope I didn't start a new tariqah.
Now, before we go to the second part of our meeting today, the Q&A session, allow me to remind all the good brothers and sisters, you have the right to ask anything you feel that you are not clear about, because if not, you will leave this hall having another misunderstanding again. Thing that you are not sure is your duty to ask. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ always remind his ummah to ask if they don't know. And even the Quran said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلِ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. But the important thing when you want to ask something, brother and sister, the adab of asking, yeah? You must straight to the point, and then you must be ready to listen carefully. Because there are a lot of time people are asking questions, but the one who asks questions, they don't listen. And that's why the power of listening is very important. What Allah have granted the early generation and give them the title radiyallahu anhum wa radu an, because these are the generation of sami'na wa ata'na. They listen carefully and they can understand everything the Prophet conveyed to them, and then they follow. They become the best because they are good listener. So this is what we like to share with all the brothers and sisters here. Remember, in our country, it will be very different from what Sheikh Yusuf Estes have experiences back in the US. Our country, there's a lot of misunderstanding between race and religion, culture and religion, that we have to clear. And we as Muslims must understand the differences first so that we can explain it further to the people who are not yet Muslim. Just an example, I remember my time when I became Muslim in 1968. Majority of my family members, start from my mother, said she have lost a son because now I become a Malay. I became a Malay. I said, no, I'm a Chinese. I will live and die as a Chinese. Allah created me as a Chinese. I didn't choose to be a Chinese. But my mother said, no, you are gone. You are Malay now. This is a big misunderstanding between race and religion, number one. Again, another misunderstanding is culture, tradition, and religion, known as adat and ibadat. Adat is adat, nothing to do with religion. And still we have a problem. The third one is very important. They always link Islam with the Muslim. Anything the Muslim does, they say, this is Islam. There's a big, huge difference between Muslim and Islam. Islam is a teaching. Muslim is the people like you and me. The teaching of Jesus is different from the Christian. Neither Jesus know that he become a Christian. But people give him a new name. Jesus Christ. Where the Christ came from? You can ask Sheikh Yusuf Estes. So now we go back to Sheikh Yusuf. Yeah. So brother and sister, time for Q&A. Tafaddal. Faddal. Yeah, there's a brother here. Please. Is there a mic over there for the brother? Mic for the question, inshallah. We have a lot.
It's not good for them to step over the camera.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Bring the mic over there.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go ahead, brother. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Sheikh, I'm from Malaysia, from Kuala Lumpur. I studied at Southern Illinois University long time ago in
Thank
California.
you. Thank you.
Okay, Sheikh, I would like you to share your experience, how you are surviving and our brothers and sisters surviving in the US with Islamophobia.
The question I think you're asking is about dealing with Islamophobia. Is that right? Yeah.
How are you surviving with Islamophobia
Yeah.
in the US?
Thank you so much. That's a very good question. When we talk about Islamophobia, it's a rather new expression or word, and it's kind of strange. But let's look at what it means before we even talk about how we deal with it. One of the things I said early on is to understand the problem, then you can better find the seeds to solve the problem. In this case, it's a word, it's a phrase. So let's find out, what does the word mean? Phobia, the last part of it, is an unnatural fear of something. It's not a fear, it's an unnatural fear, something beyond normal. I have a fear of being bitten by a spider, but not to the extent that if I see a spider, I'm going to freak out and run out the door and scream and holler. But if the spider is on me, I'll probably try to kill it or knock it off. So that's the difference between a phobia and just a normal fear. The phobia is called arachnophobia. Arachnophobia is a fear of spiders, an unnatural fear. You can look up phobia in the Sheikh Google, and he'll tell you all about it. I think you got that. But we'll go look at the first part of it, Islam. Unfortunately, and I'm glad you brought this up, brother, because in the talk I would love to have brought that up, it didn't fit. Unfortunately, when we translate to any other language, for some reason, translators do not translate two words: Islam and Muslim. If you don't translate that, you have done a disservice to the people you're translating for. You didn't tell them what it means. You assumed. And here's the biggest problem: Most of the Muslims in the world today, 88%, they tell us, are non-Arabs. Now, if 88% of the world's Muslims are not Arabs, don't speak Arabic, don't know, they're going to assume only what somebody told them to assume. What is Islam? How many in this room right now would say Islam is peace? Raise your hand. Islam is peace. Raise your hand up real big. Come on. So the next time I see you, I'm supposed to say, Islam alaikum. Huh? It's not the meaning. Now listen carefully. Because this, again, if you don't take anything else out that door with you, take this to heart and hang on to it, because this is what your religion is. It comes from a root, في اللغة العربية, the Arabic language, which is sin, lam, mim, silm. And this root, like so many of the roots in the Arabic language, has a potential of blossoming up. We use the term seeds within a problem. These are the seeds that will grow and become so beautiful when you see where it will go. The seed here, when it starts to come up, you'll find so many things. I'm going to zero in on one verb, aslama. Aslama. That verb is an action. The noun is Islam. Islam, the noun for aslama. Aslama is what? Again, you cannot translate it to the English language because it's not a single word. In English, no, you have to have a whole paragraph to get a better understanding. Maybe a book would be handy. An encyclopedia wouldn't be incorrect because there's so much that goes with this aslama. But I'll hit some keywords for you. Ready? Surrender. Everybody put your hands up. Like, you know, somebody came with a gun and said, give up. Yeah, put your hands up. Put your hands up. There you go. Now, put them together at the top, like that. Huh? Now you're ready for airport security. Surrender to Allah. Christians understand this because we have songs about sweet surrender. Yes. We understand about surrender to God. Submission, that's another word. And it's all part of it. You have to have all these words together to get aslama. Surrender, submission, to totally give up, give in. Okay, tell me what to do, I'm ready. Then obey. You will obey all of what's coming to you. And guess what? Number 4, sincerity. You have to be sincere in what you're doing. And it's not 99% sincerity. It's 100%. 100%. It has to be sincere with your Lord or it doesn't count. If you said, I'm doing my salah right now for Allah, and a little bit for these people to think that I'm a good guy, you just lost the salat. Is that true or false? You know that's true. If anything you're doing to show off, I'm fasting today. Did I tell you I was fasting? Did I mention that? Yeah. If you try to offer me any food or any drink today, well, I'm fasting. Not really. Allah won't accept it. So sincerity is there. Before I go any further with any more words, watch this. How many times have we heard the misunderstanding? Islam spread by the sword. Yeah? How do you spread sincerity by a sword? Think about it. Somebody's forcing you to be sincere. You have to love me. Got that? Or I'm going to hurt you. Okay, I love you. I'd love for you not to hurt me. You follow that? How can you be sincere, but you're being forced? Listen again now. La ikraha fid-din. That's the meaning of the ayah. Doesn't mean that I can be a Muslim, but I don't have to wear hijab. La ikraha fi din. I can be a Muslim, I don't have to pray. La ikraha fi din. That is a big misunderstanding. It means Allah doesn't force you to be a Muslim, but once you know who Allah is, and you make a choice to disbelieve, this is kafara. This is covering the truth. This is kufr. That's what kafir means. Somebody who knows and rejects, gives the lie to the truth. Got it? Understand the first part: surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity. Then guess what? Safety and security. That's a big deal. Today, every company has something about security, right? If somebody told you, we think there's a hacker trying to get into your computers, you're going to be, what? What are you talking about? We need security on that. Get on it. Somebody's trying to get in your building tonight. What? Where's the alarms? We need security. True or false? Okay, safety and security are the word that we usually call peace, salam. And you get salam as a result of the safety and security of Allah. When you say Allah is as-salam, He is the provider of peace because He is the safety, He is the security that you need. Now put all of that together as a package: surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, safety, security, and peace. Terrorist. Doesn't work. You can't do that. None of those words can be attached to terrorism. None of those words or expressions can be attached to extremist. How do you extremely be sincere? This person is a dedicated, peaceful person. Huh? Now, and realize that the whole concept is called oxymoron. What oxymoron means? That cancels the same thing that you just said. It was a beautiful, bright night. Huh? What'd you say? Well, let me give you a better one. Government intelligence. Huh? Yeah, right. Anyhow, I didn't know I'd get a laugh out of that one over here. I know in America we get a big one for that. But I'm going to leave all the jokes out of this one. Anyway, I just want to mention something. Islamophobia is a true phobia. There's no doubt about it. One of the first things that I do when I have a chance to talk to people is explain what I just explained just now, and then they go, oh. And then I ask them a question rhetorically: have you ever heard of fake news? And they go, yeah. You just answered your own question, just like that. And then they will, on their own, figure it out. Unless they want to misunderstand. Good question. Thank you, brother.
And the next question from the sisters. There's one from the brother, second from the brother. Faddal. Walaikum salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Commander Reza. I'm a Navy veteran. I have been following you on YouTube, and alhamdulillah today I can see you face to face.
Good.
To the lead question, your first question just now. When you open up and say, how does it feel like to be surrounded by terrorists? As you know, Islam difference between or Myanmar Buddhist monk killing and raping our Muslim sisters and brothers? I just like you to give us the insight of the mind of jihadists that been killing civilians, especially of late. There are many cases. The last one was in France. What I mean, as a normal Muslim,
Can the brother be straight to the point? Yeah.
we want to know the mind of the jihadists that willing to kill civilians in the name of Islam.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, brother. That really was an in-depth question. It had a lot of rhetorical statements within the question itself. Let's look at what a terrorist is. Dr. Zakir Naik, one of my dearest friends, had made a statement many years ago on stage while we were in India, and I was right there in front of him when he said it. He wanted to start out the speech to give everybody a blast, and it was a hot day that day, and he said, every Muslim should be a terrorist, and he said it like that, okay? And there's cameras going just like they are now, they were there at that time. But he put a pause in there, and he looked around the room, then he repeated it. And then he said, to the terrorists. Somebody used that first part of it and sent it up to the UK, and the new Prime Minister, which was Theresa May, she saw that, along with some other statements that some people made, and for that, they wanted to ban him and anybody that was coming with him for a Quran conference. And it was really sad. And it started a long problem of a succession of things for all of the people working with him and for his family as well. Imagine. So I want to be crystal clear on this subject and make sure that everybody gets the point. There's no way that the word Islam can be associated with terrorism. I made that clear in the last question, answer the last question, but let me give you a little bit more. The word Muslim, what does the word Muslim actually mean? In the Arabic language, not like English. English uses a suffix. A suffix means after. So whenever we say talk, a verb, talk, the means that's the one who's talking. Talk, Somebody is walking, walk, think, stink, you get the idea. Okay. In Arabic, you have a prefix, something at the beginning, it's usually the letter mim, and that indicates the one who's doing the action. This makes it much more easy for us to know you're talking about somebody doing something. This thing is doing this thing, okay? Mu is the word. And don't think of a cow, by the way, but it's mu'adhan. Adhan, what is that? The call to the prayer, mu'adhan. Suffer. Suffer is traveling. Sometimes when we travel, we suffer, but that's a different story. Musafar. By the way, safari is an Arabic word. I don't know if you know that. Safari is coming from Arabic. It means it's kind of traveling. So, musafar. Now, if I said Islam, what am I saying? Somebody who is in a state of surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, safety, security, and peace with God. Again, you can't say terrorist. A Muslim terrorist, if you define the word, there's no way anybody would accept it. Nobody in their right mind. Because there are some people with microphones on television news. Okay? And as far as the rest of the question goes, I'll leave that to the real scholars of Islam to talk about what is jihad. Basically, it is any kind of striving and struggling that people would do. And whenever you try to attach to that any kind of terrorism, it still doesn't work, because that's just not Islam. Doesn't work, okay? If you see, by the way, if you see a Christian who goes out and kills innocent people, do you call him a Christian terrorist? No, you just call him a terrorist. They've been proving that again and again and again. I don't know how many times we have to hear about children being killed in the schools in America, and nobody has called them Christian jihadis. They don't even call them Christians. They just say the guy is mentally ill, he had a problem, he didn't know what he was doing, blah, blah, blah. And there's 50 kids dead, 17 kids dead. The next week, another 22 kids are dead. And all the time, we need to have more guns. Even the President of the United States, he said, we need to arm all the teachers with guns so they could shoot back. Yeehaw! We're in Texas now. Load them up, boys. I mean, really. So, if that's your answer to what you're considering terrorism, I guess that's where counterterrorism really comes in, isn't it? I think all of us need to take a deep breath and kind of step down off of that and look at what the future for our children needs to be. I'm serious about this, that there isn't really any room for that kind of behavior in Islam, and never was. That didn't come from our Prophet ﷺ. If you don't mind, I could just remind myself and all of us of something that's so amazing of the character of Muhammad ﷺ. When he visited the people of Ataif, the tribe that was there in the mountain area of Ataif, not too far from Mecca, he and a companion went there to try to tell them about La ilaha illallah, they worship one God without any partners. The message that's been found in Christianity and Judaism for centuries upon centuries. That's all he was trying to tell them. They didn't even want to give him the respect that they would give a stranger. And he was a distant relative, but they wouldn't even give him the respect of listening to what he had to say. They said something that means like, well, he claims to be a prophet, and if he's not, why should we waste our time? And if he is a prophet, then we'd be in trouble for not wasting our time with blah, blah, blah. They were making a joke out of it. When he got there, they actually took the street urchins and told them, throw stones on them. And they were throwing stones on him and his companion, driving them both out of town, and they were filling the sandals of their shoes with their own blood from these rocks being thrown at them. And by the way, if you hadn't thought about this, that's the punishment for prostitution, stoning somebody. That's a punishment of somebody who's really, really rotten and bad. You throw stones at them. And they were doing that. And when they got far enough out to some kind of an orchard where they were, got away from the people, they stopped. And while they were there, the angel came to them, Jibril, and said that Allah has angels on the mountains of Ataif, ready to bring those mountains down upon those people who just stoned you. Allah's ready to stone them big time. You follow what I'm saying? Just say the word. Did he say go for it? And you know and I know, he made dua for those people. He prayed for them, that from them would come the righteous people who would worship Allah alone without any partners and spread the message. And I've been told that from the people of Ataif, they're the ones who came to India, eventually came over to here, and you wouldn't be sitting here right now with me had those people not come to Islam. So, brothers and sisters, the real answer is us learning how to control ourselves not worrying so much about how people are not controlling themselves. At the end of the day, whether they kill us or don't kill us, it's all by Allah's qadr. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but this is what our Prophet ﷺ showed us by demonstration. We don't have to react to everything that comes along except by our dua. Sheikh, will you add something to that?
We hope all the brothers and sisters are very careful in using Islamic terminology. There are many words in Islamic terms is very sacred, like jihad. It's a sacred word. It's used to save. It's used to bring khair, goodness, not to destroy, not to cause unrest, no. But people are misusing, again, coming back to the topic today. A lot of people are misusing the Islamic term for a bad intention, with a hidden agenda. So we must be very wise not to entertain anything bad relate with Islam, where there's nothing to do with Islam. If there are some Muslims doing some bad things, we may accept it. They are human like you and me. You have Buddhists who are doing bad things, Chinese doing bad things, Indian doing bad things, Muslim doing bad things. It's the people, nothing to do with the teaching. So when you use Islamic terms, always be very careful. Don't say Amin to what they say. The problem is the Muslims are so naive. We tend to follow them. What they said through the media, we become the Amin. No. We believe what Allah said in His book about this religion. Anything contradict with Allah's book, nothing to do with Islam. That's how it goes. Well, Islam don't belong to you, belong to me. Neither it belong to the Arab, it belong to Allah. Inna din inda Allah al-Islam. So anything relate to Islam, please remember, our reference is not the media. Our reference is not what people say, is what written in the book of Allah. Then we confirm, this is Islam. So inshallah, may Allah give us the wisdom to understand the Islamic terminology so that we know how to use it properly. And any negative that come from people who don't understand Islam, it is our duty to make sure that we present Islam in the right way to them. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal mau'izatil hasana wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Jadilhum billati ahsan is what Allah wants us to do when there is somebody attacking us. You must use the best way to explain to them. Like people throw stone at the Prophet. Did the Prophet respond with curse? Oh, Allah punish them, throw stone at them? No. The Prophet ﷺ said to the angel, Inni lam ub'as la'ana, I am not sent to bring disaster, to destroy, no. Walakinni bu'ithu da'iyan wa rahmah. But I was sent as a savior, a caller to the truth, to save them as rahmah, a mercy. And in written at the end of the saying the Prophet, towards the offer by the angels, Allahumma hdi qawm fa innahum la ya'lamun. Oh Allah, give guidance to these people in Ta'if who throw stone at me. Give them guidance. How many of us make dua to the people who dislike you, who go against you? Normally we don't make dua for them anymore. Khalas. They are my enemy. They are shaitan. Khalas. They are people of hell. We just stamp them calm. We do not have mercy. You must have that mercy, brother and sister. It's a test from Allah. Respond with love, mercy. They don't understand. ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَوْمٌ لَا يَعْلَمُ, because they don't understand what they are doing. So let us make them understand. It's important, inshallah. This is just some addition. We don't have much time left, but inshallah, ladies now. Two brothers have answered the question. Now we open for the ladies. Normally in our Q&A we say ladies first. Yeah. Why lady first? Inshallah, you will know why later on, inshallah. Any question from the sisters? Question from the sister side? Allahu Akbar. Yeah, the MC is coming out with the mic now. Any question from the sister? You just raise your hand and the mic will come to you. Faddal. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
I have one question, just very simple.
Your name, sis?
Aisha.
Okay.
My daughter.
Okay. Basically, I think everyone knows the amazing stories about you converting to Muslim. So I just have one question, which is, when the time you know that Islam is the one, what is your perception to Allah?
Did you understand what she said? Huh? Yeah.
So the time when you become Muslim, how is our perception towards Allah?
That's a good question. Beautiful question. Aisha is the name of my daughter, by the way. I like that name so much. It was also, of course, you know that the Prophet ﷺ was married to Aisha, radiallahu anha. And the question you're asking is about the perception of Allah, is that right? And I'm not this average person, okay, but I don't really think anybody's average anyhow. We're all different. But I have a good recollection, maybe better, of my little childhood than I do what happened yesterday. As a small child, 4 years old, 5 years old, I remember going off to places by myself to talk to God. I used to go up in the attic of our house, out into the garage, different places, and I would just talk to God and look up and, try to talk to God. As a teenager, I read the Old Testament of the Bible, and there God is being represented as a mighty and powerful God, sometimes loving, but mostly vicious, But when I got much older, I started reading the New Testament more, and it seemed like it was a whole different God. It didn't seem right compared to what I had thought or felt. At times, I was having doubts, did this really come from God? It was not until I had a chance to ask myself questions in front of a Muslim who, I debated him for 3 months, by the way. Well, so many subjects every day. And it turned out that the answers he gave me were much better than what I was coming up with. It reminded me of last night when we had our discussion with Dr. Zakir Naik. Yeah, his answers are always so amazing, And this was the thing for me was that the answers were so meaningful to my questions about Allah. There is no doubt whatsoever in my mind and in the minds of so many of the converts when they come to Islam, because after searching, you're really looking for something, and when finally it comes, it's like, whoa, that's exactly what I was looking for, and let me just hang on to that. So that was a very good question you brought up, because it's a good way for us to wrap up our program as well. Every one of us is going to be responsible on the day of judgment for that. What is your relationship with Allah? I want to mention something if I could. You didn't ask this question, but there are so many terms that we use from Arabic that if somebody doesn't break them down, we really miss a lot. Taqwa is misunderstood to be righteousness. In the Arabic language, it's a shield against something. Your shield against Allah's punishment on the Day of Judgment is your righteousness. So that's why it's probably used that way. Salah is not prayer. Prayer is like this. And you look in the dictionary, you'll find that prayer is supplication. Supplication or prayer is exactly in the Arabic language, dua. So, what is salah? And you find out from the same root, sila, it's connection. This is your connection with Allah to get your dua answered. So this is why we say that it is prayer, but reality, it's the way to get our prayer accepted by Allah, to make our connection with Allah. So many words like that we take for granted every day, but we don't think about what does it mean. When it comes to the subject of understanding Allah, there are so many terms that we use, and we suppose that everybody else knows, so we won't ask, because we're too shy to say, well, what is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah? What is Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah? What is Tawheed al-Isma wa Sifat? A simple English translation isn't really enough. I highly recommend for each and every one of us to spend more time to learn what these things really mean. Find a good teacher. Find your imam or your Quran teacher who knows meanings. Ask them, what does it mean? How can I understand this better? Help me to know. Now, in the English language, we've developed over 4,000 different domains on the internet. But I'll tell you just one that'll help you get through to a lot of them. We finally combined them in a way that you won't even know you're in different websites, okay? It's called ShareIslam.com. ShareIslam.com actually will take you through 10 different scenarios or images that will take you through the different parts of Islam. If you don't find the answer to what you're looking for, go to SheikhGoogle.com. Yeah, that's our website. SHEIK. Don't put an H after the K. It's actually Sheikh Google, okay? SheikhGoogle.com, or the other name for it is Search for Islam. We use the Google search engine to go through all of our websites, over tens of thousands of articles, videos, audios, images that we have gathered up from volunteers. Over 1,500 volunteers helped us put it together over the last 25 years. Amazing conglomeration. I myself would not even endeavor to tell you how it works. Just remember, ShareIslam.com, SearchForIslam.com. You got everything you need. Oh, and this one, for our brother who was asking about the attacks against Islam or the harsh way that people treat us, if you go to SearchForIslam.com, type in the word harsh, Harsh. I made a point to have all of our volunteers, anytime they gave answers, to put that word harsh somewhere on the page so that it would search it and bring it up. Somebody asks you, why do you have to kill all the Jews and Christians? Don't bother to type it in, just put harsh and a list will pop up for you. Or wives. Why Prophet Muhammad married a little girl? Why? All these different things that they say. The questions are there, the answers are there. I hope we answered the questions. I hope we helped you to get closer to Allah. And I hope and pray that Allah will accept something from us today. And when you go out that door, you'll be better informed than when you came in. Until next time, I leave you with the same greeting we always begin with. We ask for Allah's peace, blessings, mercy to be upon all of the true believers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, we are coming to the end of the program today, but we just like to inform you that inshallah tonight Sheikh Yusuf will be with us in Al-Khadim Center, Sungai Kayu Ara. You can get the info from the committee here later on, inshallah. We will have our session within Islam is cool, the cooling Islam. But inshallah, once again, brothers and sisters, every beginning is an ending, and we know that all of us have started with a good beginning. Your intention is clear. You are here to seek some information, some knowledge, to get some experience from Sheikh Yusuf Estes so that we can utilize it to spread the word of Allah Rabbul Alameen, number one. Now, when you are going to have a good ending, is more important than a good beginning. That's why the Prophet always reminds us not to forget to ask Allah, be humble, be sincere, and seek Allah's protection and guidance by saying, Allahumma khtim lana bi husnil khatima wa la tahtim alayna bis su'il khatima. Oh Allah, give us all good ending and don't give us a bad ending. So brothers and sisters, this meeting is not the end of Yusuf's visit to Malaysia. It's just another beginning. He was here earlier, and alhamdulillah he's back again, invited from brothers from Indonesia, collaborate with ABC, and then Kuala Lumpur with us. And we'd like to thank TM for responding to our collaboration. Inshallah, may Allah reward all of us kindly. And once again, brother and sister, Sheikh Yusuf just informed us about going to Sheikh Google or other media. Normally, we scholars didn't have that kind of privilege before. Today, a lot of people want to know about Islam. It's so easy. You just go to the internet, social media, Facebook, you got all the information. Right or wrong, we don't know. Today, this is how easy it is. But our time, we seek knowledge through books, kitab, library, and real scholar. You know who you are learning from. So you can use all this technology, but please be very, very careful. Sometimes it may come from the right channel, right source. Sometimes the Dajjal is behind that, using the same kind of website to mislead all of us. What Sheikh Yusuf is trying to tell us, to guide us to the right website. But always remember, share Islam. But you have the right to reconfirm. Before you want to share with others, you make sure that you have the right information, you have the hardware, not only software. Have the hardware clear cut, then you share it with other. May Allah accept our deeds, forgive all our sin, strengthen our iman, increase in us patience, understanding, and wisdom. Amin. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Lastly, brothers and sisters, anytime when you offer salam, when there Q&A session, anytime when you offer salam, please hold on, give the opportunity for those who listen, I hear your salam, to respond. If you say Assalamu alaikum, you start to talk, you don't give the chance to respond to your salam. Offering salam is sunnah, responding is wajib. So please be fair to us, be kind to us. When you offer salam, hold on for a second, give us the chance to respond to your salam. وبالله توفيقي والآخر دعوانا والحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.